Today we are continuing on the topic of consumer arithmetic and the subtopic is simple interest. Simple interest is when you deposited or loan some money to a bank, someone, or some other business institution for some period of time and would expect to gain some amount of money back as profit on the money you loan. The amount you gained along with what had been deposited is called the interest, which is also referred to as simple interest. The formula which is used to calculate simple interest is I equals P times R times T, where I is the interest we want to find. P is the principal or the amount of money invested. R is the rate or the percentage profit that will gain on the money invested for a particular time. And T is the particular time in years that it will take for a profit to be gained. Our first example states that Miss Jackson invested $8,250 with a finance company that pays 14.4% simple interest per year. And the instruction states that we should find the interest and the amount she is expected to receive after 3 years. We need to write the formula to calculate the interest. The principal, P, is the amount invested, which is $8,250. And the rate is 14.4%. 14.4% is simple 14.4 over 100. We can change it from fraction to decimal. 14 divided into 100 gives 0. We place a decimal point after the 0. We ignore the decimal point and divide 144 into 100 and that gives 1. 1 multiplied by 100 gives 100. 0 from 4 gives 4. 0 from 4 again gives 4. 44 cannot be divided into 100. So we place a 0, so we can continue. 440 divided into 100 equals 4. 4 times 100 gives 400. 400 from 440 leaves 400. 400 divided into 100 gives 4. So 14.4% as a fraction is just 0.144. The time in years is 3 years. So multiplying the principal by the rate, by the time, gives us a total of $3,564. So by the end of 3 years, she will receive $3,564 on what she had invested. The next instruction is that we should find the total amount and all that she would receive after 3 years. We know that she had invested $8,250. And by the end of the 3 years she receives $3,564. So that means to find the amount and all that she will receive is the principal plus the interest. Mr. Smith deposited $1,250 in a bank that pays simple interest at a rate of 5.5% per year. The instruction asks us to find the interest in this amount after 2.5 years, rounded to the nearest cent. And also the amount he will receive after the 2.5 years. We can convert the rate by dividing it into 100 to get the decimal value rounded off to the nearest cent. 5 divided into 100 gives 0. We place a point after. 55 divided into 100 gives 0. We place a 0 after 55 to get a number greater than 0. 550 divided into 100 equals 5. 5 times 100 gives 500. We ignore the point and minus 500 from 550 and we get 50. 50 divided into 100 gives 0, so we place a 0 after 50 to make it 500. 500 divided into 100 equals 5. So 5.5% rounded off to the nearest cent is 0.055. We can go ahead now and plug in the values for the formula. The principal equal 1250. The rate is 0.055. And the time is 2.5 years, we can convert that to get decimal. 2.5 is simply 2.5 as a decimal. Multiplying the principal by the rate and by the time equals $171.88. The next step is to find the total amount she will receive by the end of the 2.5 years. To find the total value, we add the amount deposited with the interest rate that he received after the 2.5 years. Adding the values, we get $1,421.88. What about this example? As you can see, the instruction asks us to find the interest on a $500 borrowed at 8% earning as the rate after 9 months. The simple interest formula, which is I equals P times R times T, the T is time in years, and 9 months is smaller than a year, so that means 9 months is just a fraction of a year. Which means we want to have a fraction of 9 months over a year. But we want to also convert 1 year into a month just to make the units the same. 12 months make a year, so we write 9 months over 12 months. We now get the units to be the same. We can now cancel the units since they are the same, and we get 9 over 12. 9 over 12 could be reduced as a fraction. The largest number that could go into 9 and 12 is 3. 9 divided into 3 equals 3. 12 divided into 3 gives 4. Let's work out the answer. The amount borrowed is $500 and the rate is 8%, which is just 0.08 as a decimal. The time as a fraction is just 3/4 of a year, we can convert it to decimal. 3 divided into 4 gives 0. We place a point after. And then a 0 after 3. 30 divided into 4 gives 7. 7 times 4 gives 28. 28 from 30 equals 2. We place 0 after 2. 20 divided into 4 gives 5. So to calculate the interest now, we do the principal multiply by the rate, multiplying by the time. And we get $30. This instruction states that we should find the simple interest on $500 borrow at 8% for 90 days. 90 days is also a fraction of a year. We want to convert 1 year to days because we want to make the units the same for us to calculate. 1 year equals 365 days, but we normally use 360 days to make calculations more simple. Because if we use 365, we will get decimals in the answer we get for a day, and that wouldn't really make sense. So we place 90 days over 160 days. We can cancel the units because they are the same. 90 divided into 360 equals 0.25. We can plug it in the formula and calculate the interest. Calculating the interest, we get $10. For this last example, we are asked to find what principal would be needed to earn $672 in interest in 2 years' time if the rate of interest is 6%. We use the formula to calculate simple interest. As you can see, the instruction asks us to find the principal. If we have an amount of $672 as the interest, the principal value is missing, we make the letter P remains to represent that. The rate is given, which is 6%, and converting 6% to a decimal, that would equal 0.06. We have the time, which is 2 years. Multiplying 0.06 by 2, we get 0.12. To make P the subject, we divide both sides by 0.12. 0.12 will cancel 0.12. 672 divided into 0.12 equals $5,600 as the principal amount. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section, or you could send us an email through our email provided in the description. And if you haven't, you can subscribe in order to not miss out on our weekly tutorials.